Hey guys, it's Holly. So today we're gonna have a look at what in my opinion is probably one of the worst LEGO Star Wars sets to ever be made. The design to me is just overall not that exciting, and that is Obi Wan Kenobi versus Darth Vader from the Obi Wan Kenobi TV show. This is set 75334, and for this set design, it is a shocking price point of $50 US or 80 Australian, which I think is just ridiculous, and that even accounts for, I guess, like the Star Wars, like typically inflated pricing, as well as the increased prices. It's a lot for this thing. That being said, I think there are a couple of small advantages when it comes to this set, but in reality, I didn't want to buy this at all. I honestly just bought it to make another video because I made a promise on it, but I thought I would take a proper look at it in person instead of, I guess, just like having this really strong opinion on how it was the worst Star Wars set of all time to me. So I'm glad that I did get it in a way, because that means I could actually look at it for myself and see if it actually is as bad as I thought. So that being said, let's go and have a close look at it. So here is the set all built up, and look, it's just as underwhelming as I sort of expected it to be in real life. The build is made up of a lot of plates and just a couple of slope pieces. Overall, the process really wasn't that good, and it's really not that impressive when you take the minifigures away. So in order for me to show you how unimpressive it is, let's have a look at them first. First up, we have Obi Wan Kenobi, and while he may be the star of the show, he's definitely not the star of this set. That being said, the minifigure looks pretty cool, and he comes along with his classic blue lightsaber with that nice frosted blade. Overall, the design of him's pretty cool. I like how you really get a sense of his sort of raggy, tattered clothes underneath those brown robes, which, again, I'm not really a big fan of the robes being printed, but, you know, kind of works. I really like his hairpiece, though. I think it looks fantastic, though I don't think it quite matches his hairstyle in the show all that much, but I just think the piece is cool overall, and his face print's pretty nice. You've got a really looking sort of aggressive face with a sort of like middle-aged look to him, and then a more sort of calm, solemn face as he's telling Leia off, which is nice and looks a bit more calm and relaxed. Next up is Darth Vader, one of my favorite characters, who of course, just like Kenobi, comes along with his lightsaber, and from the outside this figure would probably look, you know, like the one from the Bespin Jules set with the nice sort of stiffer cardboard looking cape thingy and the printed arms and the printed torso and all that, but he actually is slightly different, as underneath his helmet he has this sort of brand new Anakin Skywalker, Darth Vader, burnt on Mustafar looking face, which I am a really big fan of, because I mean, Anakin's my favorite character. I absolutely love it. To sort of get more of like an Anakin version of Darth Vader than the sort of Return of the Jedi looking Darth Vaders that I've got in my collection is a big win for me. I mean, it's a very slight difference, and at the end of the day, you're not really going to notice it all too much, especially with the helmet on, but Darth Vader's in a somewhat cheap-ish set with the arm printing, so that's really, I guess, one of probably the big draws to the set for a lot of people. Next up is Tala, and overall, I mean, I like this figure. From memory, I feel like this outfit is a little bit inaccurate. I don't think she was quite wearing the First Order outfit at this point, but I don't have any First Order officers, so for me at least, it works really well. I would have loved to have seen her with some dual molded legs though, especially with the price point of this set, but her new torso with sort of like the feminine negative space on the side looks really good. She comes with a small blaster. She's also got a brand new face print on one of those new like sort of head colors, which I'm a really big fan of, and I'm glad they're doing more of that. So that is really great to see. And then it's all topped off with her little cap. Overall, it's a pretty neat figure, but at the end of the day, it's definitely going to be one of the weakest in this set, despite it being pretty cool. And lastly is the star of this set, Ned B, who comes along with this weird looking hammer thing. And overall, this minifigure has actually kind of surprised me with the design. I think he looks really good overall, and this like whole molded like chest plate and head section looks incredible. And I love the printing on the legs. I love the hip printing. Even this like printed little back plate thing that he's got here is really cool, which is actually just sort of attached to these two studs on the back. And then this is one entire mold, so he can't really move his head or have like much functionality in that section, as that is just one entire piece that's dual molded. I mean, admittedly, it looks really cool and has some really good printing on it. Underneath that though is just a standard black torso with some alternating arm prints in order to really get the look of him, and when you put it all together, you get this really cool looking droid, which definitely, I think for a lot of people is a massive draw, and I wouldn't be surprised if he stays exclusive to this set forever, pretty much. So here is the set when you don't have any minifigures on it, and as you can see, it's pretty lackluster to say the least. It's really just a grey slab, which I feel like everyone was pretty much expecting with this set, especially when they revealed it. It's overall not too exciting. When you have a look at the underneath, you can sort of have a better idea of how it's built up. As you can see, there's a lot of plates, a lot of supporting bricks, a couple of sort of spinning tiles here, a couple of little smoothed out pieces, but for the most part, there's really not that much going on. You can see the sort of Technic mechanism that's involved with this little, I guess, strip of lava, which really looks kind of unfortunate when just on its own. But other than that, there's really not a lot. I mean, for what it is, I guess it kind of works. You sort of get that sense of, you know, rocks and lava, but it's so underwhelming to me, and it's really, really disappointing. One thing that I did actually like, though, is the whole lava mechanism thing. While it does look kind of pathetic just to have like a singular strip of translucent cheese slopes, it does work pretty well. You can slide this entire back section off and push them down there, and then you sort of have to do it quite quickly, otherwise they will sort of pop back up again, but you can hide it and just have it as a regular slab, which is pretty neat. And then all of a sudden Darth Vader's lighting things on fire and bam! Oh my gosh, the floor's on fire. It's a pretty fun play feature and works well for what it is, but it's really overall not that exciting. The other play features are these like sort of spinning discs, which honestly remind me a lot of the Julian Mustafa set. However, there aren't really any handles. Like, you've really got to get in there and sort of DJ mixtape with these spinning discs. So you really do have to handle it a little more than, you know, I'd probably want to in order to sort of spin them around. And really, unless they're sort of fighting right on the edge with their lightsabers sort of sticking out, they're really not going to hit each other too easily. I guess if you sort of did it like this, they can battle a little bit, but really there's not too much going on. Otherwise, we've got some rocks here, we have an antenna here, we have a space for a little carton here that you can flip, which I'll show you in a second. You have a cave and a small platform for people to stand on there. There's also whatever this thing is. This doesn't really do much. It just sort of sits there and look pretty. The final little aspect to this set was this tiny little transport little trolley thing with these two cartons with a ton of loose cheese slopes in them, which are topped off with some like open hinge pieces, which you can sort of sit there. I'm not entirely sure what the purpose of this is, but it does incorporate into a small plate feature, as if you put it there and press on the little lever at the back, the entire thing can sort of fall over, or at least like tip up. The actual thing doesn't necessarily fall over, and then you just have loose cheese slopes anywhere. It feels a little weak to me, but it does what it's supposed to, I guess. But yeah, besides that, there's really not that much else to this set. That's where your $50 have gone. So that's fun. So yeah, as expected, this set is really underwhelming. Even as a parts pack, I just don't think it works. I mean, admittedly, after building it, I think it might make a kind of alright display piece. I mean, it's a set that's like pretty compact, so it's good if you're low on space, and it does stand well on its own. You can create a scene, you can sort of show the action. So it's good in that regard, as well, of course, as being a cheap-ish way, I say that quite loosely, in order to get Darth Vader and some other really cool figures. So I'm excited for it for that reason. But otherwise, this set is very lackluster, and it feels like a massive wasted opportunity when it comes to Obi Wan Kenobi sets. I feel like there are so many other things that could have been made, and in terms of just a battle, this really ain't it. This set is a massive disappointment, I feel like, when it comes to just build process and just the overall result. Like, I think it's very basic, and it is going to be a challenge for myself in order to try and rebuild this into something. If you are parting this out and just getting it for the figures, no one's really gonna want this build. It's very basic, it's very boring, and it's very simple. And I think that's the main reason that I don't like this set, especially when you have it with those newer, higher price tags. The two of those things combined just really make this a massive disappointment to me. And while I love the minifigures, they just don't make up enough for it because the build is so lacking. So let me know your thoughts on this set. I know at first a lot of people were saying they're probably still going to buy it because of the minifigures, but with all of the releases around August 1st and even just upcoming, have you changed your mind? Are there other sets that you feel like are going to take up your Lego budget instead? Are you still planning on getting it? Are you going to buy the figures on Bricklink? Let me know in the comments down below. And if you guys enjoyed this video, please give me a thumbs up and consider subscribing to my channel down below. And be sure to keep an eye out for my attempt at rebuilding this into something of slightly better value. But until next time, guys, I'll see you later.